So, welcome to the Xcast. This is episode 4.
Yay.
I'm here with Twista X as always.
Yes, how's it going?
And today we have special guest, TheDude V2.
That's right, man. The dude abides. Thanks for having me.
TheDude.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
How's it going, man?
No, I had a good day. Played some PlanetSide all afternoon, and here I am with you guys about to talk PlanetSide. So,
Awesome.
a lot worse Sundays than that.
True that.
Let's let the listeners know a little bit about you. Basically, the dude is he's an officer in Outfit X and been there for a while. I think that he was probably one of our first members directly from the PlanetSide 2 community that became field commander to the officer position. How long you been a member of the outfit, dude? Do you remember?
Yeah, so I signed up for the beta pretty early on, and I had trouble with my computer playing it, so I shelved it, and then finally one day it worked, and found you guys maybe after about a week of playing on the beta, and I'm looking at the forums here, and it looks like my application was on November 5th last year, so longer than this game's been around. It's been a real good time, and I haven't looked back since.
Sweet, man. And we're glad to have you too. That's it's hard to find good people, and you're definitely one of those good people. And by the way, the dude is from Canada. That's why he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, that's Canada can take all the credit for that. That's right. It's very kind of you.
Well, don't forget, you are also an American.
I am. So I was born in Phoenix, but I've lived in Canada my whole life. So, the Canadians have they own my heart up here, if you know what I'm saying. So, for any Canadians listening here, you're looking for a good outfit, you can come see me. It's not all a bunch of Americans here. We're equal opportunity at Outfit X here.
That's right. We got a member from Venezuela right now.
That's right. We got Venezuela. We got some Europeans. It's
like a bag of Skittles.
That's exactly right.
Keith is from Singapore.
Singapore, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. We got our Singapore guy, and it's a nice diverse group. That's for sure.
That's for sure, man.
Well, we don't have any duty bears.
Yeah. Now I must say, I get constantly harassed for being Canadian, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, like the first question people always ask you is if you have a bottle of maple syrup with you. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I always have a good time mentioning the great maple syrup heist of 2012. Our strategic maple syrup reserve was thieved. It was burgled, but we got it back, so we're okay. Yeah.
Hey, so before you played PlanetSide 2, dude, what other games did you play?
Well, so this is this is where I'm going to get flack. So I actually didn't play first-person shooters very much. I tried Battlefield. I think the first Battlefield I played was 2142. And I tried Call of Duty on the Xbox 360. I guess Black Ops was the one, and I didn't like it. Probably because I really sucked at it. But they just weren't for me. It was too much like being a solo person in a big cluster. If you know what I'm saying, it just wasn't for me. My games tended to be things like StarCraft. Actually, I used to be pretty good at StarCraft 2 until I found PlanetSide 2 and. Now all my time gaming is spent on PlanetSide. Not that it was that good, but I think I made Diamond a couple leagues. So I was doing pretty good there. I really like the strategy and tactic of that. It's kind of like real time chess. And what's really cool to me about PlanetSide 2 is it's got that excitement and that that visceral you get to shoot people kind of thing in a game, but you also have those different layers of tactics and strategy and that's why I play this pretty much exclusive now. Yeah,
you said that was on the Xbox when you played the Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'm at Battlefield 2142. I played on PC, but yeah, the Black Ops was on the Xbox. Yeah. I also really dislike playing on a controller.
I feel you there, dude. Those joysticks, it's just not the same. You don't have the control.
Yeah. So, PlanetSide's coming to the PlayStation 4 pretty soon, right? I don't even think I'll attempt to play it because my skills on those controllers are so bad it won't even be worth it.
Yeah. Oh no, and plus you've worked hard already on your PlanetSide, the PC version, so there's no reason to go and make another one, right?
That's right.
So let me ask you something. Before you actually played with us, in beta, what made you want to put in the application for the outfit?
Well, so I distinctly remember the first time I logged onto the game, I ended up at the Esamir Warp Gate at night. And I remember walking out of the Warp Gate barracks thing, and there's sort of people everywhere, and even at that time, people were already spamming music and stuff through proximity chat, and I remember just like going, okay, well, I got to stay under cover. So I'm in the warp gate, jumping from cover to cover. Right? That's how much I knew about the game. And so I ended up walking out to the west and down the coast. And it took me a good 15 minutes before I found my first enemy, and then I was promptly shot in the head, you know? And so over the course of the next few days, and I think it was about a week or so, I'd sort of learn a little bit. I'd end up joining a squad, and sometimes the squad would be working together, but more often than not, it was just sort of scattered all over the place. And then, and then one afternoon or evening, I look at the squad list and I see TeamSpeak required, I think was the name of the squad or something like that. I joined up. I thought, hey, if they're on TeamSpeak, they got to be working together. And I played with you guys for one night. I think it was like maybe 3 hours, and just had an awesome time actually playing in a cohesive unit for the first time in PlanetSide, and put my app in on the forums, and I've been here ever since.
Awesome, man. And I think that's when you play PlanetSide, I think a lot of people experience the same thing when they join a good outfit that actually works together. There's a lot of games out there, just like Call of Duty and Battlefield that you mentioned earlier, that there is no reason for you to work as a team. It's because they're catered to those guys that like to kill things all by themselves, whereas PlanetSide 2 is catered to people who want to work together as a team.
That's right. In my experience, and I'm sure there's going to be people who disagree with me, but my experience playing those other shooters was they were really free-for-all games disguised as team games. And PlanetSide 2, I suppose you can play it like that, but I think you'd hate it. The only way to truly enjoy PlanetSide is to be in a group that plays well together, that you get along with well, and that means joining a good outfit, finding one that fits your personality and your playstyle.
I definitely agree.
I agree also. I was thinking about I used to play Counter-Strike a lot back when I was younger, and I was thinking about PlanetSide, Counter-Strike. I always considered Counter-Strike, which is touted as being kind of like, I guess it's never really been considered too much of a team play game, but I've always considered Counter-Strike to be a game of chance. It was Counter-Strike was always about how lucky you were, because it did not matter how freaking good at the game you were. Some guy logging in for his first time could always land a headshot on you and kill you because he got lucky. So in Counter-Strike, it was always like how you were able to tune your luck so that you came out ahead. Because at any time in the game, you could always just boom, headshot, you're dead. That was Counter-Strike. And I think that PlanetSide is a lot better, because it doesn't matter how bad or how good at the game you are, if you're not playing with other people, you're going to get owned and you're not going to have a good time.
Right.
Absolutely.
You always have... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there might be some small exceptions to that, like if you're a really good ESF pilot or something like that, or if you just want to join up with a Zerg. But I know we've recruited, people have joined Outfit X over the last, since the game started, and a comment I hear a lot from our new guys is that's how they used to play, was in a Zerg, and they really didn't like the game too much, but it was free, so they might as well play it. And so as soon as they joined up with us, it became a brand new game.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to the next question here. TheDude, what would you say that you've learned playing with the outfit?
Well, early on, it was just basic infantry tactics. I was a mostly a StarCraft 2 player, and so from an overhead view and moving multiple units around, that's how I thought. And so being one of those units on the ground, with imperfect knowledge about what's going on from an overhead view, there was a huge amount of learning for me to do on how to move with the unit, how to watch each other's backs, how to communicate to each other on what we need to do, who's attacking us, what's going good, what's going bad, all that kind of thing. So really for me, it was learning how to play a shooter in a good way. We have a few folks in the unit. Solex would be one of the key guys here that did some training courses early on. Really simple stuff like how to set up your mouse so that once you get used to it at a certain kind of setting. What I mean by that is no acceleration and fairly non-sensitive and you have to move your mouse a fair bit to move your crosshairs around the screen. Making those simple changes and then getting used to them, moved my KD when I started this game, which would have been less than 1. I'm not sure what it was, maybe 0.7 or 0.8, something like that. And now I'm consistently getting a KD above 1. Not that KD is any kind of indication on how well you play PlanetSide, but it just goes to show that, for a guy like me who I'm not a shooter player, or at least I wasn't. You can learn and you can get better, and it's really fun to learn and get better. And when you got guys that have the knowledge and the passion for educating and for training, you can come a long way.
Definitely, man. And I think you hit some good points there, because you have an outfit that's dedicated to doing organized events such as training and sticking together while you're actually playing. You become a better player just in general, especially if you got people backing you up.
Absolutely.
And so I think you kind of answered this question, in your previous answers. But if you could give some advice to new players that are installing the game tonight or today, what would that be?
Seriously, man. First thing, just join an outfit. This is going to sound very self-serving, but you know what? If you're listening to this podcast, you're thinking of trying PlanetSide 2 out, just join Outfit X. And if you don't like us, it's fine. Take what you can from us. Learn a bit. Learn how to communicate. And if our style or our personalities or whatever doesn't fit, then that's fine. Then go somewhere else. But get in an outfit right now. Like if you're not in one, it's too late already. So just do it.
Yes, just
do
a
single thing.
Do it.
Yeah.
And I would like to elaborate on something that you had mentioned earlier, but like how to set up your mouse. And I guess this goes back to when I played, Counter-Strike. In Counter-Strike, those games are like twitchy. Like you need to be able to turn around and shoot the guy shooting you in the back in the head before he shoots you. But in this kind of game, whenever Solex showed me how to set up my mouse, it was like bring your sensitivity way down. And I was
it was painful at first.
Yeah, you're insane, dude. This is no way you can play the game like this. But then it goes like this, right? So like in this game, like you need to be able to line up your shots, and if you overshoot or by moving your mouse too much, you're never going to be able to lead and hit the person. So, and if someone is behind you, you're already dead. There's no reason to try to twitch around and get him. But you still have to work on it. Like whenever we do our training sessions, it's always see how practice on turning a 180 and getting some shots off, so that in case someone is behind you, you have to be able to hit them.
Got it as a reflex, yeah.
Yeah. It's muscle memory.
Yeah.
But I thought that the idea of turning my mouse way down was insane. But I think it's way better. So
well, it is. You end up with way more precision, right? And it does take getting used to. Like I was one of those guys where I could spin my character 180 degrees by moving my mouse maybe an inch on my mouse pad, and that's great to move quickly, but you have absolutely no precision. So now a 180 turn takes 10 inches on my mouse pad or something like that, and
that's huge.
So it's I guess it is huge, huge difficulty getting used to it. But once I got used to it, my accuracy and precision and general enjoyment of playing the game went, through the roof.
Yeah, I think mine is a little less than that. I mean, I still like a little more power in my mouse, and I haven't really had too much trouble. I kind of did take some of his advice on the mouse settings. It made sense, some of the stuff that he touched on, but of course it's all top secret, and the only way you're going to find that out is if you join the Outfit X. So
of course, yeah.
Hint.
So, dude, we gonna give you one more question here, and we'll end the grilling session here for you. And the last question is: in a zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice and why?
Well, that's actually a very easy question for me, because I've thought long and hard about this, and we don't have that much to do sitting around our campfires up here in Canada. So
drinking maple syrup.
Drinking maple syrup and beer, yeah.
Right.
So the plan is to hold up till winter. And so the answer to what weapon? Our weapon is cold. Let the zombies freeze, and then we can just spend all winter walking around, lobbing their heads off with axes and baseball bats and whatever else we can get our hands on. So there's my answer. The cold.
The cold, yeah, just freeze them to death. Freeze them to death.
That's right.
I have one more question for you before we wrap this up.
Surprise question.
That is that you are an officer within the outfit. What made you decide to go ahead and sign up and apply for the officer position within the outfit?
Right. So I'm not even sure the timeline, but I played as a grunt, as a regular member within Outfit X for several months, and then there was an opportunity to apply for a field commander's position, and I applied and was promoted to that. And then I think it was pretty quickly, like maybe a month after that, there was an opportunity to apply for an officer position. I applied and I got that as well. So what really got me wanting to do that was I really like leadership. I really like helping people get better, and that doesn't even necessarily mean at PlanetSide. And this is going to sound so cheesy and so bizarre to someone who's not
So
part
Canadian.
of a good, so Canadian, right? But when you're part of a good online gaming outfit, and I've got a real life. I got a wife and dogs and friends, and I run a business, and I have a real life, but it's really nice to be able to have a group of friends that I can play with online. And with Outfit X, as we recruit new people, I get to make new friends quite regularly and help these guys learn how to play PlanetSide. And in some cases, you're spending hours with these guys every day and playing a game together, help each other, go through life together a bit. And I know that sounds cheesy and lame, but that's a big part of it for me, right? Is there's more than just, hey, are we going to win our battle or not? It's, can we have fun and can we, build better relationships while we do it?
The camaraderie. You like the camaraderie.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And you get well paid too.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I drive a Porsche and.
Oh yeah. We pay good. So you guys need to apply for sure.
Yeah.
I remember, I think the first officer / field commander meeting that we had, you brought a really sweet spreadsheet, telling us about how the outfit was growing. That
Yes, I did that. Yeah. We I think I was modeling our recruitment as like a Poisson process or something like that. Yeah, I'm a total nerd too, by the way.
Which, by the way, I was pretty impressed by the spreadsheet. So
I was pretty blown away.
Yeah, he was well prepared, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, we do appreciate you helping us out though, and leading the outfit like you do, and that's what we look for. That's what I look for personally in my leadership, and you do a damn good job of it.
Well, thanks very much, and likewise to both of you. And Twist is the founder and leader of the outfit, and Painted is a field commander, and all the other leadership that's not on the podcast today. Real good group of guys. I wouldn't be a part of it if you weren't. So, thanks so much.
So this is the part of the show where we actually go over the latest patch of PlanetSide 2, or actually it's not a patch, it's a game update. It's actually game update 13. And man, there was quite a few changes, don't you guys think?
That was a big one.
Yes, it was a big one. Yeah, definitely. There was some good changes. There was some not so good changes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very clear the folks at SOE are working really hard on this still. They haven't given up. Not by any stretch.
Yeah, there was quite a few changes. So basically, what we do here, if you haven't heard the show before, we'll pick it apart basically and talk about every little fun fact that we think needs to be touched on, major changes to the game. So I will let Painted start off on his first topic here.
Okay. The first thing we have up is alert experience. You now get experience rewards that are proportional to the amount of time that you participated in the alert. This will only go toward characters that participated only characters that participated throughout the entire duration of the alert will receive the full benefit. And I guess the participation is specific to individual characters, so you can't just hop around to different accounts and take part.
Right. How do you feel about that?
I think it makes sense to me. The only problem I have with it is, and I'm not sure about this, but if I participated but I wasn't able to be there when it ended, do I get experience?
I think if you disconnect, then you would still get experience. But if you log off, you do not. I think.
Yes, I don't like that because the alerts are 2 hours long, and I may not have time to participate in the entire thing, even though, let's say I participated in 75% of it. I was there for an hour and a freaking half, playing, and I have to go. then I don't get any experience bonus.
Yeah,
Well-
or maybe your battery runs out on your hippie van and you couldn't fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, I mean, before this change, if you weren't there when that timer hit 0, you didn't get anything anyway. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no change to that. I think the problem was, folks would they'd be working or playing another game, and then they would sign on in that last 30 seconds just to get free XP, and that I think broke the spirit of what the alerts are supposed to be about.
And I don't disagree with it. I think the change is good, definitely. But I still think that if you're going to give people, experience bonuses based on their participation, then you should still give it to people who had to log out and weren't there toward the end.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with you. I mean, it's not like you're not getting XP. I mean, during an alert, you tend to get more XP anyway because you tend to be in higher population fights, and you're earning more that way, and you're getting your attack or defense bonuses.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Painted. I think that sometimes you hop on for an hour and maybe there's an alert going on. I think if you contributed in some way to the alert, if you were on that continent and you were actually fighting for whatever event it was, I think you should be rewarded at the end of the event, whether or not you're logged on or not. I do not.
I mean, I wouldn't argue if that happened, but it won't be near the top of my list.
Yeah, well, it's a change. It's definitely different,
Yep.
So the next item on our update list here is the improved respawn logic for the lattice-enabled continents, which basically means that they updated the way you spawn, or I guess I should say the places that you can spawn at are they give you a few more choices now. There's actually quite a few changes to that, and I think the first night I had a little issues as a matter of fact, I think a few of the outfit members were having issues because it was trying to spawn them at totally different random places instead of where we were at, and I think they fixed it. Do you guys have any issues with that?
I definitely had some issues with it. I think that and maybe it's just because I wasn't used to the new way it was doing it or something like that, but sometimes it seemed like I would be like, I want to spawn here, and it'd be like, no, you're spawning over here. And I had to go, I had to redeploy just to get put back where I had told it to put me before. Another issue I had with it is, I guess it gives you the option to spawn at, facilities, like the closest facility of a type that you're at or something, or you own.
I think you get the at all times, as long as your faction owns at least one major facility, at all times you have the option of spawning at the nearest major facility.
Yeah, so if you own
that's it.
If you own 2 biolabs, you can always spawn at the closest biolab.
Yes, as far as I understand it.
And here's why I have a problem with that, because we were on Esamir, and we were at I guess Freyr Amp Station. So we're way up there by the TR, warp gate, and we started losing Ymir Biolab. So he was like, we're going to redeploy, we're going to go back to the warp gate, and we're going to go up Galaxy and go to Ymir. But since Ymir was the only Biolab we owned, we can spawn there. So we were able to spawn across the goddamn continent. And I was like, that's not cool. Like, especially if I was going against an enemy and they did that to me, I would not be happy that someone just came across the continent by clicking a button.
Yeah, that kind of takes away the whole point of having a galaxy and redeploying if you can just spawn right over there, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think they're doing it for the better judgment call on the part of the developers, because they want to give everybody fair opportunity to spawn in logical places during a battle. You don't want to just get them random spawn point.
Yeah, I think that logically, on paper, it looks good. But in practice, it's not very good.
Well, hopefully one of the developers are listening and they will take that into consideration, right?
Yeah. So
the next update on the list here, dude, you want to go over that one?
Yeah, this is the XP changes with suicides. So if you haven't read the patch notes, basically what this means is if you're flying in an ESF or a Liberator, or you're in your tank or whatever, and you jump out and die, or you kill yourself, if you've taken damage in, I think it's the last 10 seconds, the person who has been giving you the damage, so giving you the vehicle the damage within the last 10 seconds, or you as an infantry, I think even with you as an infantry in the last 10 seconds, if you jump off a bridge or something, they get the kill. They get the points for the kill. I think that makes a huge amount of sense. I know for some reason a lot of people, whether they're in their ESF or whatever, playing as infantry, they don't want to let their opponent get points, even though the opponent wins, and I think that's just a little cheap. So I think it was a positive change and more fair. So when you're hammering on a vehicle or a person and they kill themselves, you still get the points.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. If somebody's chasing you in an ESF, you're in an ESF, and they're doing a certain percentage of damage, then I think they should get the XP. I'm kind of starting to think about this now, because what if somebody just shot you one time with a rifle and maybe you fell off the edge of a landing pad and you died? Does he get XP, or is it based on a percentage of damage that you take?
I think no matter how much damage, the last person to land damage on you, if you kill yourself, they get the kill. I think.
That's how it reads. It says,
the
last player to damage the player will be awarded the kill.
See, now that's kind of, I'm thinking about that, and I wonder, because somebody could actually take your points. If you were sitting there pounding on a guy, and then here comes, your neighbor, and he shoots the guy, and he dies by fall or something, the guy next to you gets the points, and you lost it because you did all the 80% of the damage.
Yeah, but that happens already, right?
Yeah,
even without suicides?
No, because
you get critical kill assist, right?
Right, exactly.
I think that would still apply.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, that would make sense.
I don't know for sure.
That would make
Well,
sense.
I think that the frequency of what you're describing is much, much lower than someone hopping out of their ESF because they were about to go down.
Right.
And I think that the frequency of what you're describing is probably going to be so low, and that'll happen on such a rare occasion that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think it was a big deal, though, this change, because, matter of fact, I think I saw Higby tweet about this guy on another server that was logging out as he was in ESF fights, and if he was fixing to die, he would just log out. I think his name was Daddy or something like that.
That is so cheap, man. That is so cheap.
Very cheap tactic. Yeah, just man up and take the death, man.
Yeah, and if you're not a lot of salt and you can't jump out and save yourself, then you died anyway, and they got the kill.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the ESF gives them points anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah.
You get the points for the ESF, you get the points for the player, and you'll get your experience bonus for the air-to-air superiority.
Right, exactly. So, Painted, I'll let you go over the weapon portion of it, but I'd like to go over this update here. It's the audio for the VS weapons, the Vanu weapons. They've all actually been updated, so you're going to get better sound quality from their weapons instead of them sounding like lasers, I guess.
Now, I think they sound more like lasers now.
Really?
Yeah, I love the new VS weapon sounds, and I want to give every VS player a high five because their weapons sound awesome now.
Sounds like those little toy guns you used to get when you were a kid. They'd make different noises when you'd push the button,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they needed it, I guess. It makes them feel powerful.
Well, I mean, I think it's just kind of like lore-wise, it kind of makes more sense, because they are firing energy weapons, and so they wouldn't all sound the same, which I think is what the case was before.
Yeah, so what does that mean for the TR? Because their weapons sound like farts?
I don't know, but someone was saying that I guess they're anticipating them doing every faction's weapons over, and I don't really see that being the case, because I think that the NC, I think for the most part their weapons all kind of sound different depending on what you're using. Maybe we could all use a little bit more, I guess changes to our weapon sounds, but I don't think it's really necessary, and I think that also applies with the TR.
Yeah, if I had one major complaint for the NC sound, it's the freaking Enforcer, dude. That stupid thing sounds like a bottle rocket, Yeah. It doesn't sound like a big rocket cannon.
Now, I would disagree with you, because I love that sound. I think it's so NC.
NC they're like what is that called? Those EMP type weapon, not EMP.
Like rail weapons?
Rail weapons, yeah. Why would it sound like a rocket?
Because it sounds awesome.
I don't know, dude. That's like 4th of July. I don't know.
Yeah, so in the lore, and clear this up for me. So NC weapons, are they? Is it gunpowder or is it railgun kind of technology? What's this supposed to be?
From what I understand, yeah, it's magnetic weapons.
Yeah, magnetic.
But
why does it sound like gunpowder going off?
Well, because it's a combination. It's Gauss. So it has, gunpowder. It's regular ballistics, but then it's added on with magnetics.
Okay.
So
it's a little more futuristic than it seems.
Yeah.
I think the Chinese had rockets back in the 1700s that sounded more powerful than that. No offense to the Chinese friends.
They invented gunpowder.
That's right. So, Painty, you gonna go over the next item here?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not?
We got new weapons came out. There's a new NS SMG, the NS7PDW. That is the one that Tremel talked about in our last podcast where he said he designed that thing all by himself. So good job, Trammell.
Good job, Trammell.
I think it looks amazing. I really like how it has like the bulb-up design where like the magazine is in the stock. It's a pretty good weapon from what I understand. A lot of people like it. I'm not cool with NS weapons. I think that every weapon should be Empire specific. But especially if the NS weapons are going to be superior to the Empire specific weapons, which this one seems to be pretty damn good. But whatever. The next weapon is the Desperado pistol, which I love because it's Empire specific. I think it's a little weird because it's a 2-round burst pistol. You can basically fire it fully automatic just by clicking really fast. It kind of seems a little bit misplaced. Like I'm on the fence about it because that seems like the 2-round burst thing would be a TR weapon. Like it kind of seems like I'm not really sure why they didn't give us a shotgun pistol.
Yeah.
Because that seems like NC-ish. But the way that this thing hits, I just consider the 2 bullets. The thing has 14 rounds. It might as well just have 7, and they just gave it 7 rounds. So I like it. I think it's a really good, solid close range weapon. The next weapon is the TR Inquisitor. That's the TR TS2 Inquisitor. That thing has 30 rounds. It has an extended magazine.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just a single shot pistol, so it's made for like extended engagements, which is pretty cool. I would probably use it if I played TR. The next one is the VS Cerberus. This thing is, I'm pretty sure it works like a mini lasher. Like I think it does like AoE damage, but like it's really small. So if you don't necessarily have to hit someone with it for it to do damage. What do you guys think about these weapons?
That sounds an awful lot like a shotgun.
Yeah, well, unlike a shotgun,
that's true.
Like the thing about the lasher in this game compared to the one in Planetside 1 is that in Planetside 1, it was called the lasher because it lashed out at you. Like all it had to do was come close to you, and like this like energy would lash out and slap you. So as like all you had to do was like fire it down a hallway, and if someone was hiding on the sides, as it went down the hallway, it would reach out and like hit you. But this one works more like a rocket launcher, where at the point of impact it does AoE. So it works differently. So that's why the Cerberus also works differently than a shotgun would, where it only does kind of like a burst damage at point of impact.
I can't believe all that's coming out of a pistol, though. That's insane. That's like, that should be in a rifle, I think.
Well, like I said, it's very small. Like I barely even noticed it whenever I tried it out. Like I noticed it just because I happened to miss a guy and it hit the ground and it did damage.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't even tried out any of the pistols, and I guess for sure I tried out the SMG, and I was pretty impressed with the range. I guess they were quoting that it was supposed to be a medium range weapon, which it really is, because that's all you hear anymore. Everyone's bought it up, and apparently Higby tweeted a guy off Matherson, I believe, that hit like Araxium metal in like 7 hours with the dang thing.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone's buying that thing. I guess I should be the next person in line to buy it.
If you want, I'm not going to pick it up out of principle.
Yeah, just you don't want to be mainstream. You want to avoid the mainstream.
Yeah,
I hear you, man. I like my weapons,
Yeah, I got the first SMG that came out, and I haven't really changed from that. And likewise, the Rebel pistol, switched to the Rebel pistol, and I don't. Maybe I'm just not adventurous enough, but they serve my purpose. I'm used to them, and I get lots of kills with them. So
yeah, how often do you actually use your pistols, dude?
I use them fairly regularly because my standard heavy loadout is the jackhammer, the decimator, and my Rebel pistol, which works really well when you're in close quarters. But as soon as you have to move between buildings or something, that decimator and that jackhammer don't help you out too much. So I actually use my Rebel pistol as my sort of medium range backup, and it works pretty well for me. I've had a fair number of kills with it, and at the very least keeps me alive until I can get back into some close quarters and use the jackhammer to finish them off.
I agree, man. I think as long as a pistol does damage, it doesn't really matter what you have. I mean, how often do you really use it in a combat? I mean, it's primarily your rifle,
Yeah.
Well, I use pistols quite often because I use bolt action, the SSAR or the SASR, and I was playing as an infiltrator, and I was using the underboss a lot. But then I decided, to start being a little bit more stealthy, and you can't put a silencer on the underboss, so I started using the Rebel a lot, and the Rebel is awesome gun. Like, it puts people down in like 4 shots.
Yeah, it's really very good, and it's fairly accurate even at range.
Yeah, and like, I guess since we're talking about this update, they did a bunch of updates to all of the pistols. Like, all of the pistols pretty much got better. So the Rebel got better too. And this new Desperado, since I like it so much, I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy a silencer for it so I can test it out on my Infiltrator. But I might continue to use the Rebel.
Well, let us know how that goes.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, give us a report.
Good.
So the next change on our list of goodies here is the proximity radar on vehicles, and this was actually hit a lot of people on the PlanetSide 2 forums, where they weren't expecting, because I don't think anybody was asking for this, but they did change it. Basically, to narrow it down, what happens is that the radar used to be active even if nobody was in the vehicle, which was really nice because you could park a flash in the general vicinity of your operations, which doesn't take much, and gives everyone radar, all your friendlies radar, so anybody that would be coming into the building is spotted. With this change, they actually removed that capability, so in order to have your radar, you have to be sitting in the vehicle as the driver in order for it to be active. So this raised a lot of questions and eyebrows on the PlanetSide 2 forums. I think there was a few members in X that were concerned about it. How do you guys feel about it?
Well,
I see it. Oh, sorry, Painted, you go.
Well, first off, let's clarify that you're talking about 2 different things. There's a proximity radar that went on like the Sundees and the tanks, and there's a scout radar that went on the flashes. The proximity radar for like Vanguards and Lightnings, it only ever worked for the people in the vehicle. It wouldn't give updates on enemy movement to the rest of the squad. It was the scout radar on the flash that did that, and the scout radar on the flash cost quite a bit of certs, and people bought it so that you could take it out, park it, and then you'd have like coverage over the entire base, and all you had to do was pull a flash. That's why no one ever used the proximity radar on the vehicles, because it's really only used to make sure that you don't have line of assault about to C4 your ass. Changing the scout radar is I'm not against it, because as far as I'm concerned, that's how it should have worked in the first place. I think that they probably intended it to work the way it works now, and it's a little bit overpowered to have I pulled a flash because the first vehicle I ever built up was the flash because I wanted to scout radar. And, I mean, it was, kind of overpowered for me to pull the fucking flash and be able to, roll it into everywhere I was going. And now I can watch enemy movement over the entire base, no problem. And all it cost me was, 25, vehicle resources.
I think that was a good change, though, because you're right. For 25 resources, you're getting a good bang for your buck, I guess you could say. But I didn't see a problem with it myself. I thought that made the flash useful.
I agree. And I know that, anytime that I was at an enemy base and I happened to pawn a flash, I always checked to make sure it didn't have, radar. Because if it does have radar, it needs to go down. But at the same time, flashes are kind of hard to see. And if you can park them in bushes and they're basically invisible.
Yeah. I mean, all of this being said, my suspicion on their motivation for making this change was an indirect buff to infiltrators. Right? It means the infiltrators, scout radar, those darts are way more important now.
Yeah, they get XP for it now, so you have to have that.
Yeah,
right.
And especially now that you get experience for it, it becomes a much more viable tool, and it's
Absolutely.
It's way more important for you to put points into it and waste your certs building it up. Just the other day, we had an infiltrator running in our squad, and since we did, I decided to not play infiltrator, and I had to get on that guy's ass all the time to put out darts, so I could follow enemy movement. But it became very obvious to me how I have mine built up. I just finished putting the last rank in it, so my darts are all the way up, but his were not. And he would shoot his off and it'd be gone in 8 seconds. And I was like, well, that's a big deal. When mine stick around for 25-30 seconds and I can cover an entire area and monitor enemy movement, it's much less effective when it only lasts and hangs around for 8 seconds.
I think it's a good thing in the long run. I think they're doing these things to make prior I guess, changes to the game before these big updates are, come out in the future. They're going to be adding a new continent and little battle islands and whatnot. So I think this is all, going to add up to something much bigger.
Yeah. And before we move on, one other thing the dude said, where this was kind of like an indirect buff to the Infiltrator. They are talking about I guess one of the updates coming up really soon is supposed to be an update to the Infiltrator. And so maybe this was like, getting to that early.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they're talking about is giving the Infiltrator a drone. And being an Infiltrator...
wasn't that mentioned on the last podcast?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tremel actually went over it with us, but he didn't really give us any detail.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to the previous episode, we had the head, he's the head designer? Or no, he's the head, what's his title?
Senior art director.
Senior art director. So if you haven't listened to that episode, make sure you go back and listen to it.
Yeah, but being an Infiltrator most of the time, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with the scout rate, with the drone. Like, what is the drone going to do? Like, I would love to have some more information on what's coming up soon with this update, because they're talking about giving me like more sniper rifles. What am I going to do with more sniper rifles? Like, I'm pretty sure the sniper rifle does one thing, and you can give me 80 of them, and they're still only going to do one thing.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they have up their sleeve, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, if the drone's got a weapon on it, that might be cool. Some kind of little pistol. I don't know. That'd be.
Or maybe it replaces your darts and lasts way longer, but it's also a bigger target.
Yeah, maybe it works like the Phoenix, where I have to be standing while I'm using it.
Now, at some point, I'm almost positive, and we kind of got sidetracked here on the Infiltrator thing, but I think it's a good topic to talk about because Infiltrators can really break the game, or they can make the game. That being said, in PlanetSide 1, an Infiltrator, if he was spotted while he was cloaked, his name would show up red on the screen in front of you, plus your radar. And currently, it doesn't happen that way. If you spot an Infiltrator, nothing happens. He continues to run invisible.
Well, I do not want the ability to spot cloaked Infiltrators, because all you have to do is spam your spot, and eventually you'll get lucky and spot that Infiltrator, and he's completely negated his cloak.
I agree with you there, except the spam ability does have a... if you use it too much, it actually goes on a cooldown. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know it, but still, I think that that's way too harmful for the Infiltrator.
Yeah, the PlanetSide 1, actually, the discussion for the Infiltrator now is to make him 100% invisible, so he does not show up at all. And
yeah, but that's going to be like a separate kind of cloak, right?
Yeah, it would be a different cloak.
That's. I thought I read that there was going to be now two kinds of cloak for Infiltrators.
There could be, and I like it. And the disadvantage of that cloak is that you can only carry a pistol. That's how they used to be in PlanetSide 1, and I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever I first started playing this game, the Infiltrator, they should just name that the Sniper, because he didn't have SMGs, he didn't have radar darts, he didn't have anything. He was just a sniper, and I was kind of let down a little bit.
Yeah, and I hate to keep touching back on PlanetSide 1, but in PlanetSide 1, you could only carry a pistol as an Infiltrator, but you could use it while you were cloaked, so you weren't having to uncloak to kill somebody. You could just do it while you're cloaked. I think that's what they're going to add. If somebody else knows more, definitely give us a message on the forums or comment on our podcast page and let us know.
I want a sniper rifle that is a shotgun.
A sniper shotgun. Huh. I don't know. That might be a little OP, my friend.
Whatever.
All right.
We got, I guess the next thing we got here is the platoon leader waypoints.
Yes, definitely. More waypoints.
What do you think about those?
Dude, I think you were kind of vocal about this earlier. What do you think about them?
It's long overdue. They've made some small changes to the platoon leader interface. You know how you can drag troops between squads now, and now you can actually do some amount of real leading within the game interface, where you can now put down squad points for Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta squad if you've got those squads, obviously. Plus, if you're a squad leader, you can put the smoke down. So we're moving in the right direction. We're getting more and more abilities for the platoon leader. I just want to see them keep doing it. Right now, unless you have out-of-game systems or voice command systems, and by out-of-game, I just pretty much mean TeamSpeak, right, and an ability to communicate. Then as a platoon leader, if you're not a squad leader, you were rather impotent. There was very little you could do.
I guess. I don't think this is a bad addition to the game. I just, you know, the way I see platoons is you have 4 squads that are independent, that are being, you know, directed by a platoon leader, and I guess, you know, it just adds convenience. Like, instead of telling Charlie's squad's leader where he wants Charlie's squad to go, he can just, you know, straight up tell the entire squad at one time. That way, you know, Charlie's squad's leader doesn't have to worry about putting down a squad waypoint. But that means that now we have, like, I think including like a squad waypoints and like the 4, you know, platoon waypoints, and plus the platoon waypoint on top of that, we can have like 6 waypoints up now, and maybe that's a little bit too much.
Right, but these people in each individual squad will not see the other squad waypoints, right? So that gives them a potential of only 3.
Well, maybe. Because now that I think about it, when I was playing earlier and you put down a squad waypoint for Charlie's squad, I remember seeing it and thinking, okay, well, that's where I'm supposed to be. But I guess I didn't realize at the time that I was in Charlie's squad, and that's why I was seeing it. That if I had been in Alpha Squad, I wouldn't have seen it.
See, I think it lets you do some much more active leadership for your squad leaders as well. So for example, you're taking a major facility, you're taking a tech plant, let's say, right? So your platoon leader might put the platoon waypoint on the ultimate goal, say the control point Alpha, right? And then that platoon leader can put his or her, of course, squad waypoints on, say, the shield generators or the SCU, that kind of thing. And it allows the squad leader to use their squad waypoint and their smoke signals to mark for their specific group of troops. We're going to take this building first and then that building. And so the troops now have some ability to see sort of where they're going. They get to see their squad waypoint and their platoon waypoint. And at the same time, the squad leader has a way to directly communicate over the map with his squad for the on the tactical level, on the building to building, cover to cover kind of system.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, well, I think the dude and I are on the same page. I still feel that it's a little lackluster. I think that squad leaders and platoon leaders need a little more tools to play with.
I agree completely. But we're at least moving there, it looks like.
We're moving there, yeah. And, I sound like a broken record, but PlanetSide 1, squad leaders had a tool that they would carry around, and it gave them the ability to, it would call down a mass radar that would give them, I think it was for like 15 minutes, maybe it was 10 minutes. Once you click the button, it would give you enemy locations where they were at that exact point. I mean, they could move from when you last scanned, but it gave you a general idea of where the enemies were at.
Sure.
And you could also scan for friendlies. So when you went to your main map, you got this big radius of where the enemy pockets are. That's how you used to be able to find AMSs back then, because they were invisible. So you would scan with your mass radar. I guess it would come down from the orbital satellites or whatever. And we talked about this with T-Ray on the last show, and I'm still on a mission, and I maybe you guys don't feel the same as I do, but we need some other type of weapon or tool that allows us to provide some kind of support for our squads as squad leaders, not necessarily platoon leader. And if you're not going to give me an orbital strike, give me some type of support tool, such as like a big, massive smoke, bring in the fog type thing, or EMP, which turns off the lights at nighttime. I don't care. Or disables vehicles in a certain vicinity. Give me something that's going to help support the people that I'm bringing in. I don't need a massive kill weapon. Just give me some support tools.
Well, yeah. Speaking about that, the other day, I think it was yesterday, on Facebook, PlanetSide Universe posted, I guess, an updated roadmap, and the roadmap went, I think, all the way to like January, and I think in January they're going to bring back up orbital strikes to see how the community feels about orbital strikes and stuff like that. One thing I did wanted to point out though was that nowhere on that roadmap was Hausen, and it skipped from like August to like December. And I was like, where's October, November, and September? So I thought it was kind of strange way, little, you know what I mean? The way they changed the roadmap.
Yeah, I guess. I thought they were releasing Hausen after Sony, the event that's happening this week. What is it, SOE Live?
Yeah, I heard it was going to be playable at the event.
Yeah, they said they were going to showcase it at SOE Live.
So I'm wondering if that update you saw could be like improvements to the continent.
There was no anywhere, nowhere did it show Austin on the roadmap.
Right.
And I was like, I mean, I hate.
Let me ask you: do you hate that?
I hate that. Like, I hate it so much. Feeling like, where is my Hossin? Like, I want my Hossin. Where is my Hossin? Like, I just want Hossin so bad.
But Painted, tell us how you really feel about that.
Yeah.
The way I really feel about it is I think that there's major changes coming. Like, we already saw, like, how they're planning on doing the changes to the resources. Where they're going to roll them all into a single resource that's going to be based on the facility that you're at.
Yeah.
And how they're going to have all of the contents kind of interlinked with Hossin being in the center. And I've said from the beginning, I think the reason that Hossin got replanned and had to get moved so far down the roadmap was because they had to start from scratch, because they decided to change it completely, and I think that's the reason why. But, God, just give me Hossin.
Yeah, just give us more continents. I think we need more choice, I think that a lot of players are getting burnout from playing on the same continents every single night. And luckily, I think Esamir, with the changes that it has now, is going to bring in the older players that have kind of taken a break, which is a good thing because, I think a lot of outfits are suffering from low player base because, it's getting very redundant. So I'm really glad that they changed Esamir, which is actually the next item on our list here, is they added the lattice system to the Esamir continent, as well as enhanced a bunch of facilities. What do you guys think about that?
They changed everything. They added trees, new bases, got rid of bases, changed bases dramatically. I mean, they put it. I can't imagine how much work. It might as well be a new continent almost.
Oh man, I agree. I think the changes they made are really awesome. It makes the bases really defendable, but it also makes them very hard to take.
Yeah. So, have you guys ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I have not read that.
I've seen the book, but I've never read it.
So I'm rereading it for like the second or third time right now, and there's this character in there that named Slarty Bartfast, and he's a world designer, and his big thing is fjords. He likes building fjords. So in the book, he designs the Scandinavian countries, right? Those were his thing. He was so proud of his fjords. And so now on Earth version 2 in the book, he's in charge of Africa, and he's putting fjords everywhere because they're his favorite thing. All I could think playing Esamir the other day was the designer of this map just loves walls. I mean, they're just absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm not against it. Like, all right, so in the 2 days that I've spent playing on Esamir, I've seen the middle of the map. Like, I haven't really been we go one base out of the octagon, and then we get pushed back to the octagon. And so I know I really, really, really want to fight at Esamir Munitions because it's 2 towers, and that
we had a few good
fun
fights
as hell.
The other day.
And that looks fun as hell, and I haven't had a chance to go over there yet. And so I'm just super excited for the time that I'll actually get to see not the center of Esamir.
Kind of like Indar when you don't get to see the other side of it because we haven't been there in a few months.
Yeah, I know. Crown side.
Crown side, yeah. When the game first got released, that was the place to be, man. People would not leave that place at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed now, though. The Crown's been updated since a few patches ago. That they've created the capture points on separate parts of the hexagon, so you're not just stuck trying to take the top of the hill,
Yeah, they did a good job at the Crown, finally getting it kind of settled to where it's a more capturable area.
How you doing? Falling asleep over there?
It's getting late.
So all these the Esamir. What I find really interesting and exciting about it in the long term for the game is because it's so different. The bases, are so different from the bases on the other continents that it's going to force tactics to evolve, right? And that's one thing that I know we don't talk about a lot is as the game changes, it forces at least those outfits and those squads and platoons that like to think about tactics to try and experiment with new ideas on how to take and how to defend a base. So it's going to be really interesting to see what new tactics we all come up with.
Yeah, Ghost Marauder and I. Ghost Marauder's from Praetorian Guard, and we were discussing this last night, I believe. the lattice system is awesome. I give them credit for doing it because it directs fights and it sends everyone in one general direction, so you get these epic fights that people have been asking for months. But the downfall is, and it could be that they're adding it, and if that's the case, I hope they do. But later on, they need to start adding benefits to holding certain bases, so that way people like us, like Outfit X, can go back behind enemy lines, take out a certain objective, and impact the front line.
Yeah. Well, so with that resource change, one of those things is that you're gonna. Now, I was on Planetside 1 player, but I'm told there was these things called ants, and you need to move a Raxium around to power up bases to keep SCUs and shields up or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was actually NTUs. I forgot what it stands for, but yeah, there was these little vehicles you would go charge up at the warp gates, and they sucked in this power, and you would take it back to the main base, and it would power up the base and.
So from the write-up I saw about the resource change is one of those things was that you were going to have to power up bases. You're going to have to bring this mineral or whatever it is to keep things going. So it could be that for Black Ops kind of operations, you'll be able to negatively impact from their perspective anyway their supply lines essentially. So that might be coming. It seems like it is.
Yeah, I know the very first time I logged into the updated Esamir, we went to the Octagon, and as soon as we were in there, like, the fighting was so heavy that I immediately had to change tactics. Like, I had to round all the guys up, and I was like, listen, we're moving as a group now. We are going to go room to room, building to building, clearing the rooms. Like, automatically, it was new tactics. Automatically, right. It was like not just mass, like, kill everything that you see, but work as a team. And right. With the new walls and, like, the infantry-centric tactics that they're putting in, I think that, like, they're doing a really good job of bringing, like, infantry-level tactics to, like, a real head. The second thing is what you talked about with those updated resources. I'm looking at the roadmap right now, and the roadmap is showing me that in September, Hawson will be coming out. And since it's also showing the Interlink facility, so they're going to have the new Interlink facility and the new Hawson, which I'm guessing that with Hawson will come the new resource system. So we are going to see some major changes in September with the ability to impact fights, like you were saying. Like, instead of, like, being Outfit X, and, like, what we do is, like, we have, like, a squad and a half, so we can't affect major fights. So what we do, like, with the new latest, we've been doing a lot of, like, generator captures. Like, we'll hold the generator, we'll make sure the generator goes down, keep the rest of the Zerg moving. Well, now we can, like, set up, like, ambushes for those, ants that are going to be bringing resources. So we'll have all kinds of different things that we can do to affect the battle without being in the Zerg.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I saw those notes, but I didn't really get too detailed into reading them. What was the benefit of, or what's the downfall of not bringing the ant to the base? Are you going to lose it?
Yeah, so the way it works is, like, they're going to roll all of the resources together into a single resource. And, like, the player will have a sort of a wallet, and you'll spend your wallet buying C4 and tanks and stuff like that, and, like, that'll deplete your wallet. And the way that your wallet gets refilled is off of the resources that the facility that you're at has. And so you'll have two different types of resources. One of them is, like, the player resources, and the one is, like, the facility resources. So as the player loses his resources, he'll resupply off the facility's resources until the facility runs out. So once the facility runs out of resources, you can't get new C4, you can't get tanks. Oh, and you cannot also, they're going to get rid of the inventory, so that you can't have like 40 C4 just chilling in your inventory.
Damn it.
Like, yeah, as you pull them, you're going to use your resources, and you're going to use the facility's resources. And so
I think the idea is to allow sort of sieges to happen.
Yeah, and then so if your facility is out of resources, you have to resupply. And I don't think that they're going to put the ant into the game where a player spawns it. I think it's more going to be kind of like an event where the facility will have an ant, and you'll have to take control of that ant and drive that ant to, like, a resupply facility, which they said that the warp gates will always be resupply facilities, but there's also going to be places on the bases.
Yeah, it was going to be in between the bases too, right?
Yeah, there'll be like mines or, like, gas vents, and you'll go there and you'll resupply the ant and then drive it back to the facility so that you can resupply the facility. But they'll have different locations throughout the continent, so, like, you might be able to, like, refill or you might be able to get, like, a bigger load from a point that's farther away That way, like, you know, it'd be more technically sound to go for the place that's farther away. It might take longer, but you'll bring back more than it would be to go to a place that's closer, where you won't be able to get as big a load, but it'll be quicker going back and forth.
Yeah. See, once that stuff starts showing up, and then Hossin shows up, and now we have Lattice, and I mean, people, since day one of this game, right, people complain, no metagame, no metagame, no metagame. Well, there's your metagame. I mean, it's going to change everything, right?
Yeah. One of the things that I would like to see continue to happen is, they were saying that, like, an empire will have, like, a home continent. So, like, Esamir would be like the NC's home continent. And so we would always have a warp gate at Esamir. And to be able to get to other continents, we would have to fight to another warp gate, which we would then capture, and that warp gate would connect us to another continent. One of my fears is that one of the empires will become so depopulated and so weak that they'll never be able to get off of their home continent, and therefore they'll continue to lose players because that's just not fun. And so it might end up being a two-way.
It's funny you say that, because one thing that's happened that we haven't talked about in the last few updates were changes to recommended servers and factions.
Yeah, and of course you always have the XP bonuses and stuff for playing on the underpopulated servers. So that entices people to play on those empires.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I like that change. I like that they're adding in other roles to the game, and that makes people want to actually do something instead of just mindlessly zerging to the next base. So that gives them side jobs, I guess you could say. The problem I see with that is I'd like to see a little more detail as to how the vehicle is actually going to work. Is anybody going to be able to spawn it, or is it only going to be one player? And if it's one player, what if some new guy gets in it and just goes driving off and doesn't, accomplish the goal? What's going to happen there?
Like I said, we'll have to see how it looks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they won't get it completely 100% right the first time, but that's okay, because this dev team actually does take positive feedback, like your guest last week said. As long as it's constructive, they want to hear it.
One of the things also that was a little disconcerting was they were saying that, like, they're going to remove timers on vehicles. So you'll just be able to pull Vanguard, which they said that wouldn't have an impact on the facility's resources too much, because that would give new players the ability to, like, try out vehicles and stuff like that. But if, like, a platoon showed up and pulled Vanguards, then that would start draining the facility's resources really fast because of the amount being pulled.
Right, and that's how it was in PlanetSide 1. The more vehicles and spawns you had at that base, the more power was used.
Yeah.
So it had to be refilled. So it's similar, very similar system. I'm glad they're bringing it back. I can't wait to see it.
One thing that, like, it really seems strange to me is how when they set off to build this game and make it, they were like, we're going to change these things. And, like, as the game has been developed, it's just become more and more and more PlanetSide 1. Like, they should have just kept the original ideas from PlanetSide 1, and we wouldn't have to be even having this conversation. Like, the galaxy spawns, and everyone was like, no, we need, AMSs. And they were like, okay, fine, we'll turn the, Sunday into an AMS. Well, you should have done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're saying there, but remember too, unless they try new things out, then we're never going to get new innovations, right? And so as long as they're positive about it and they're always trying to make the game better, then I don't mind if they make some mistakes. I don't mind if they make a whole lot of mistakes, but as long as they're willing to fix them, And if that means that we end up with the equivalent of PlanetSide 1.1 with really nice graphics, then maybe that's what we end up with. But we've tried, or they've tried.
Yeah. And on the note of galaxy spawning, I had an idea the other day, and let me run it past you guys. I have a feeling that that's a bad idea, but let me throw it back by you. And that's that. I was thinking, what if they made galaxies where only a squad could spawn on them, but you spawned in the galaxy, and the galaxy had to be in flight. So, like, you had to, hover your galaxy over the attacking base, and as long as you spawned on it, you would drop out of the galaxy or something, Because that would make the galaxy a target, because it's always in the air.
I think that's a horrible idea.
But then at the same time, but listen, at the same time, that galaxy could be 1,000 in the air, and no one could get any shots off on it, and you could still drop from 1,000 feet. So that could maybe be overpowered.
I think I could put that on the drawing board, but with some stipulations. And my stipulations on that would be, I think that the galaxy should be powered by this resource system, and maybe it could spawn people, but not in the air. And once it uses up its power resource, it cannot spawn people anymore, and it has to go reload. You know what I mean? Add that system into it. That way, it's just not overpowered. Because maybe that one little battery cell can spawn 12 people, and then you're out of power. Then you can go refill somewhere.
Here's something else that we don't have on the list of things to talk about: the recruit rewards. Do you guys know about this?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I heard about that.
You guys were talking about it the other day,
dude. Someone mentioned it to me, and I kind of blew it off because I didn't really care. But I'm not very happy about it. Let me see. I'm looking at it right now. Basically, you get rewards for recruiting people. Now, some of these are not big deals. Like you recruit.
Just to clarify, this is recruiting players into the game of PlanetSide 2.
Right, and I guess the way it works is you get someone to make an account, and then they have to spend like 1,000 SC within like the first 30 to 90 days or whatever. And if that happens, then you get to point toward these recruit bonuses, and then as you get these recruit bonuses, you get rewards. Now, so if you get 2 recruits, you get a sweet decal, and you also get an underboss, and then you get 2 exclusive camos. If you get 5 recruits, you get a sweet decal, and you get you get 2 guns. You get the NS-15, which is the heaviest assaults, NS weapon.
Right.
And then you also get an NS-11 for the medic. So neither of those are big deals because you can get those using station cash. If you get 10, however, you get an exclusive helmet. You get a sweet decal. You get Lumifiber armor for the max, which you can only get through these rewards. You also get camo sets that you can only get through these rewards. At 15 recruits, you get a sweet decal. You get 2 vehicle decals, which are exclusive. You get 3 decals, which are exclusive. You get razor fins for your Reaver, and a couple of decals. Let me see, 20. Here's where it starts getting ridiculous. You recruit 20 people. You get those custom gun turrets for the main battle tanks. You've seen those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only way to get them.
Really?
Yes, the only way to get them is to recruit 20 people. Yeah.
So
are these cosmetic or are they?
They are cosmetic, but still, it's the only way to get them is to recruit 20 people and have them spend 1,000 SC within like the first 30 days.
So I'm pretty sure we're not ever going to see those turrets in the game.
Well, that's one of the things that's like everyone's pissed off about because they were like, you started this way too long. Like the game's almost been out a year. Everyone who was going to recruit someone has already recruited those people.
Well, time to get back to work, Painted.
Yeah. Now there's one final level. There's one final level. This is a Grand Ambassador level. You get a sweet decal. You get an NC. You get faction specific helmets, and you get a 6-month heroic boost.
That's good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What does heroic boost do? Does it just give you everything?
That's the 6-month 50% XP, 50% resource boost.
Yeah, just give me station cash. Give me a percentage of station cash. If I recruit a guy, give me like 10 station cash.
Well, for every person that you recruit, you also get a 50% boost. It doesn't say.
All of this, to me, I agree with you. It would have been nice if it was around behind because I've brought several people into the game, but good for them. I mean, they're trying to get more players in. And remember, like, if this game's around as long as we think it's going to be, kind of 10 years, right? There's literally like 6-year-olds right now that you're going to be able to recruit in 5 years.
Yeah, well, one of the things maybe I could see, like these exclusive guns for your main battle tanks, like the exclusive ones could be gold. You know what I mean? You can still buy the regular ones with station cash, but if you want the exclusive one, it's gold.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Make them unique, and because then you take away items from your base players that actually pay money for stuff.
Yeah,
you're losing money, in my opinion. But that's what they want to do.
So let me get this straight. So if I want to do this, right? So if I want to get that reward, what I have to do is I have to create 20 other accounts and spend like $200, and then I can get it.
So how are you spending money though?
Because I'm not really recruiting people. I'm just making other accounts and spending 1,000 gold, 1,000 SC.
Oh.
Well, and from Sony's perspective, they go, yeah, do that. We'd like to get $200.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's pretty steep for me to get some different turrets on my tank. I mean, honestly,
I'll never do that.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I mean, not that I'm not trying to knock them. I mean, at least they're trying. But you know, they should have came out with this when the game came out. You know, when there was people actually coming in every day. You know, and they have to be unique accounts. I guess you can't just have your whole outfit go register for you.
Yeah, can you, what if you recruit people to PlayStation 4 version of the game?
That might be an idea. Even though we won't,
like, even if you stay on the PC, even if you stay here and you stay on Connery or whatever, maybe you can get recruitment points for every one of your friends that buys the game on PlayStation.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to be free on PlayStation, or you think they're going to have to buy it painted?
I would assume it would be free. There's a lot of
even if it's free, right? There's that 1,000 station cash requirement for the recruitment.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was going to be my next gripe. How are you going to guarantee them that your new recruit's going to spend 1,000 station cash?
And what if you recruit someone and they forget to mention that you recruited them?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And some people in our outfit right now, like Carlos, he has spent $0 on the game, but he's moving up the chain.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see a reason to. That's really steep, man, for all those rewards and unique items. Give me another way to get unique items. Well, I guess there is one way, which is actually the next subject I want to talk about here. Now, I want to tell our listeners out there that there is a ton more notes to the Game Update 13, and if you'd like to read those, you can definitely go to our forums on the PlanetSide 2 section. We post all of the updates there of PlanetSide 2 and anything in between. We just wanted to go over the major points of the update that really changed the game and impacted, because we could sit here all night and go over every single line of detail, and it could be, take forever, and we don't want to put you guys asleep anyway. So the next item I'd like to talk about, which is another thing that you guys may have heard of, is the introduction of the Player Studio. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah.
So basically, for you listeners out there that don't know what it is, it's basically Sony's way of putting the creative aspect in the player's hands, because that gives you the opportunity as a player or a member of the game to be able to go and create your own unique items, such as helmets, models that will go on hood ornaments, I think even skins and camos. You do have to stick within a certain criteria that Sony has put out, and of course color palette and all this stuff. But if you guys are very creative out there and you know how to do 3D modeling and stuff, look up Player Studio, get involved. The way we're going to change this game as players is doing stuff like this. And from what I understand, they're actually going to give people who actually make a model that gets put into the game a certain percentage of money in their pocket. Is that correct?
Yeah, so my understanding of it, so I just got a quick question first of all. So are they providing a software tool to do this, or do you use like Blender or Maya or something?
You can use any 3D program you want to use, but there is actually a forum post that has a lot of recommendations from some of their developers.
Okay.
And so, it's a big long list of free 3D modeling software that's basically, there's a little learning curve if you've never used it, because you've got to go in there and they're not really complex, but they're trying to make them simple so you can go in there and create something. And they're all free, the ones that I've tried so far. I used to do 3D modeling back in high school when I had 3D Studio when it first came out. It's changed, man. It's really changed. So I've got to get used to this stuff, and I'm actually hoping to get our feet wet. We actually have a 3D modeler in our outfit who is going to start working on some stuff. I'm supposed to start drawing up some concept art, and hopefully, as an outfit, we can start pushing out some of that stuff too.
Yeah, so right. So my understanding is, right, so you as a player, you make something, you make a 3D model, and then there's going to be some way that other players vote on including that in the game. And if it gets enough votes or enough people buy it or something, once it gets past a certain threshold, the creator will get, is it 30% or something like that of the revenue from it?
Tremel said, I think it was 30 to 40%. I'll have to check with him again, but
and only once you get past a certain threshold, right? Which
probably after so many have been sold.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
So I think that's really cool for the outfits. If it'll let them build their own custom armor and helmets and stuff. I could see that being really, really neat.
Well, I think there is a few stipulations about that, which that was my first idea. Let's go in and make some X helmets and X camo. I was ready to go. But I think that it has to be global type stuff that everyone can use. Or it could be faction specific. I don't think it's going to cater to outfits in general, because then you might have a lot of wasted space, for outfits that don't make it past a certain point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and plus, I would imagine that the items that they want in the game, they want them to be profitable. So not everyone's going to want to buy, X camo or Painteddeath's booty shorts.
I don't know who
I
would.
buy Painteddeath's booty shorts.
You would buy those?
Thank you.
And the capability to roll up his sleeves, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was hilarious in the last episode. You got burned for that one, Painted.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Tramel didn't like that idea. I don't
No,
know how.
not one little bit.
So this is usually the part of the show where we have an interview with a special guest, but this week our special guest was TheDude, which is on with us right now. So we're going to kind of skip that in this episode, but we do have a new segment. Basically what we're going to do here is we're going to go down the list ourselves and give you guys our likes and dislikes of the current state of the game after the patch, and maybe it could be a bug that's been happening since beta that hasn't been fixed or something like that. So this might be a new segment we add into our show here. And so basically, I'd like to let TheDude start off with his likes and see what he's got in store.
Yeah, so I'm going to mention two things right off the bat that I really, really, really love. First one is that movement towards more platoon leadership stuff. Again, it's not even close to where I want to see it, but I have hope now. We're on the right path. So that's my first thing. And the other one is I think they did a great job of Vesemir. I mean, whether it's perfect or not remains to be seen, but they put in tons of work, and so far so good. I'm loving it.
Cool, man. I mean, I think you're right, though. Like I said earlier, I think we're on the right path. I think that they've got a big picture in mind. Just pushing it out takes time, because I was trying to model some stuff on the 3D program yesterday, and man, it's work, dude. It really is. It doesn't happen overnight. My likes of the current game right now, I love the Shredder. That's the first item on my list is the Shredder. That thing on the bomber is just so nasty.
Yeah, man. Last week when you and I were going, I was gunning for you. By the time you logged off, we were in the Shredder Liberator the whole night. I had a KD of 8.
That was epic, dude. That's
it's
epic.
Ridiculous, right?
Yes, it's awesome. Very underestimated gun. I think that these people log into play and they say, "Oh crap, man! I get a machine gun on my bomber." That thing, if you haven't tried it, guys, you need to go out, get you somebody who knows how to shoot, somebody that knows how to fly, take it out for a spin. That thing tears them up.
And then zoom and reload speed, those are the keys, I think.
Yes. Now we're giving away some classified information.
All right, maybe you should edit that out.
So the next item on my list, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put these two together. The sweeper, the shotgun on my light assault, I love that. And, of course, the EM6. Now, the EM6 did get a little change back a few patches ago whenever they changed the way LMGs operate with a forward grip, but the EM6 has pretty much remained unchanged. It is my favorite weapon on the heavy assault, and it definitely has some killing power. I'm over 5,000 kills with just that rifle itself.
Wow.
Yeah. Painted?
Okay, so stuff I like. I haven't had a chance to use the Shredder yet, but I've always liked the Shredder, so getting a buff is totally cool in my book. I like Vesemir. The changes to Vesemir are pretty awesome. And I like the Desperado. I'm glad they gave me my Desperado to shoot people in the face with.
It sounds cool too.
Yeah.
and I think we all agree we like Vesemir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, again, I mean, there's things that I find frustrating about it right now, but I'm not at all sure that is anything to do with the level design and just the fact that my tactics haven't adapted yet.
Yeah, I think we all got to get used to the bases. It feels really weird running around those bases that we haven't seen.
Yep.
We got so used to all those little tiny boxes in the fields. Now they've got meaning to them and they're defendable. So yeah, it's really cool. So the next segment here is the dislikes, guys. Dude, I'll let you start off with what's your current dislike of the game, your major peeves.
All right, the thing I quite literally see red every day that I play is these no deploy zones. So it's been a couple weeks now we've had them, and I don't like them. I don't think they add value to the game, and I think that they hurt they hurt the flow of battles, both for the defender and the attacker. Now, there's things about them that I could say might make it better. So, like for example, right now it's just a circle. So I'm sure in the code there's a center point and then there's a radius length, and that's the simple code for no deploy zones. So in some bases it makes it very hard to put asunder in any kind of reasonably protected spot. And so maybe if the no deploy zones were more intelligent, they were more like polygons that took into account the actual buildings and trees and cliffs and all those things, maybe they'd be a little bit better. But on the whole, I personally just don't understand the value of them. I mean, both sides could put sunders places before the no deploy zones, and so I didn't really see it as an advantage for either side. I just think it takes away choices, and I think it just hurts the flow of the battle. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit because the no deploy zones actually, to me, inhibit more infantry fights because now you can't just take a vehicle and pull it up next to the target and take the thing over. You have to actually work for it. And
well, I would disagree with you. You can still load up a Sunday and pull up next to a point and take it. You just can't spawn there anymore.
Yeah, but if it's well defended, though, right, you're going to probably get shut down pretty quick. And then you can't respawn. You got to spawn somewhere else. I don't know.
If I had a complaint about the no deploy zones, it's like on Esamir they put in those little Sunday garages for us to have like a protected place to put our Sundays. But some of them are in no deploy zones, so you can't use it.
Really? I haven't.
Yeah, I've ran into at least one where I had to like pull out of the fucking thing because it was in a no deploy zone.
I mean, that's just got to be a mistake, right?
I'm sure it's not on purpose.
I don't know.
What I mean is it's something they'll fix. But that's what I mean by, I understand why they're circles. Circles are easy to put in the code, right? It's much harder to build polygons and stuff. I mean, I haven't looked at their code, so I don't know this for sure. But I think that would be a good middle ground if it was a little more intelligent, like so you could park.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they'll work on it. I mean, hopefully enough people will put in some positive feedback or positive negative feedback, and maybe they'll make some changes.
Yeah.
So, Painted, what's your dislikes of the game currently?
Well, they broke my drifter jets.
Oh, noes.
Yeah, I can't drift across the ground anymore. Good job, SOE.
No skating for you.
I know. I'm sure they'll fix it, though.
Was that... Yeah, okay, so you don't think that was an intended change? It was just some
No,
sort of...
absolutely not. The reason they put the ability to jet across the ground in was because the drifter jets needed like more of a reason to use them. And I've been saying since before the goddamn beta ended that I think that they needed to like the adrenaline pump. The way that the adrenaline pump should work is it should make you run faster, and it should be like an ability, like it replaces your drifter jets. And when I say it makes you run faster, I don't mean like 10% faster. I mean like boom, 50% you're running faster. And so I think they kind of worked around that. That's what the drifter jets were supposed to be doing. They allow you to run faster.
So do you think there should not be a downfall to using drifter jets? I mean, I think you should take more damage.
There is a downfall. I can't go up.
So you're literally falling down?
Yeah, you can't go up. There's no vertical movement. Like when other light assaults are jumping up to the second story and stuff like that, I still have to go up the stairs.
Yeah, you need to get on my level, bro.
No, your level runs out of fuel too fast.
My level still works. No, but actually, touch on what you just said. I noticed that yesterday, I was trying to fly up a hill with the other light assault jetpacks, and I was getting snagged on the ground too. So I think it's the same bug across both classes.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, just a little rock. I was even trying to fly over a rock, and it felt like my feet were getting stuck on everything.
Here's the deal: is I think I know where the break came from, and I think it was a stealth update to stop drifter jets from being able to climb hills by just like pushing against them. And I think that broke the ability to go across the ground.
Yeah, the smooth ground.
Yeah.
Have you tried it in a base?
Yes, I've tried it everywhere. Wow. It doesn't work.
So if there's some developers listening out there, hopefully there is a few of them, take that into consideration. Fix the drifter jets.
Yes, please.
Please, yes.
Or don't, so we can laugh at Painted.
Yeah. That's a good idea, dude. They would not fix them. So my dislikes in the game right now are, well, I've got three big ones. The weird lag that you get whenever you're fighting in a big fight on the current lattice system, you'll start getting really choppy frames. Have you guys experienced that yet?
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems to. I haven't experienced it recently. It seems like it's kind of been toned down.
yeah. Plus, it was happening on Endar quite a bit, but earlier on Esamir, I've got a pretty beast system here that I built just for PlanetSide 2, and it was bogged down, and I don't know what the heck was happening. Everything was fine desktop wise on Windows, but inside of PlanetSide, man, it was just chugging along. I don't know if maybe somebody's got an exploit out there. Remember that? There used to be an exploit kind of like that.
Yeah.
Crash everybody. My second one is the night vision. Of course, we talked about this with Tremel on our last episode. I'd like to see that worked on, and I think that it's not operating like night vision should. And I realize it's not a realistic game, but to me, night vision's only putting over green sunglasses. It's not really doing what night vision should do. And my third one, of course, when you're in a big fight, you pull out your AA Max. I've had this bug multiple times, even in the new patch, Game Update 13, that both AA weapons on my Max do 0 damage. They get 0 hit marks. Have you guys experienced that?
Yeah, and you see your flak exploding on the target, but
oh yeah,
but you're just not getting any hit markers. You're not damaging.
Yeah, they'll just sit there and hover and look at you and kill you. It's amazing. Yeah. And this bug has been very persistent since I'm gonna have to say since release. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
So that's a big bug that I'd like to have and look at, and I may do another write-up. I've done several on the forums, nothing but positive, negative feedback. I don't know how you say it. Good, negative feedback?
Constructive feedback.
There you go. And just haven't had any response, so I'm hoping somebody out there is listening that can look into that, because it doesn't. I'm sure they cannot reproduce it in a test environment because it only happens when there's a ton of people.
Huge,
yeah. So there's something happening there, and that's my biggest dislikes right now. So that being said, that's the end of that segment, and at this rate, I think we are coming to the end of the episode number 4, and I'd definitely like to thank the dude for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, dude.
Hey, we plan on doing this more. For all you listeners out there, we want to let you guys know that we're a cool bunch of guys to play with. If you're looking for an outfit, we are always trying to look for new people with skills, people with the will to want to win, work like a team. Stay tuned, because we do have other developers that are going to be on with us. We are going to be having Luperza on one of our episodes whenever she becomes available. And we are also going to have Art Kleger, who was actually one of the developers that works on the weapons themselves. So whenever you guys shoot a weapon, all that damage and all those bullets that come out, that's the guy that we're going to talk to. And we do have a forum that we open up to the public, so that way you guys can, if you have questions that you want to ask these people, these developers, we want to throw your questions in. We want to make you guys part of our podcast here, get you guys more involved with us, and it brings more information to the community, maybe more than you can get from Twitter or even from the forums, more direct line of contact with the developers. So definitely look forward to that.
One last thing I want to say, Twist, is I've met a number of guys in the last few weeks in game that have come and joined with us on our TeamSpeak server and played in our platoons with Outfit X. And they're part of. I've met maybe a half dozen guys like this in the last couple of weeks. They're part of another outfit, a group of friends, or maybe people they met in game early on in the game. And just because of that, some people are getting tired of PlanetSide 2. People have been sort of drifting away. Not everybody, but enough that it's making an impact on some of these people that otherwise used to have most of a squad that they could play with, and now they're just having trouble keeping that going. And I just want to say to those guys, if you want to just come play with us, then just come play with us. And if you want to think about maybe taking your, the 4 or 5 of you that are left and folding it into an outfit that'll welcome you with open arms and value you and use your skills in a positive way, then come play with us for a bit and see how it fits.
Yeah, definitely. We got big plans for the outfit. We are actually going to start working on a app for the outfit, which is going to be Android, iPhone based. So any of our members, they're going to be able to log into that app and see any events that we have scheduled, listen to the podcast, especially for our fans. We do have listeners for this podcast, believe it or not. We hope to bring more content to the players and to the members of the X. We also do, here recently, we started providing another service for any of you outfits that are listening. We are able to engrave objects such as dog tags, or hell, even if you have items that you want engraved with your logos, definitely look us up. We can get that set up for you guys. We do play on Connery, so if you take the dude's words into consideration, we do play on server Connery. So we hope that you guys, if you like he said, if you guys are running low on population, come on over, give us a try, play with us. Let's see how we work together.
And guys, this is not self-serving. This isn't we want to be the biggest outfit on Connery. That's not what this is about. This is about we want to get as many quality players involved that have a great time playing together. That's what it's all about.
Definitely. Painted, you got any closing notes for us?
I was really hoping he was going to say, and fuck those guys.
Well, that too.
But no, I think, we have a great, group of people. If someone wants to come hang out with us, try us out, you can find us. We're not hard to find.
Definitely not hard to find.
So come and hang out with us. Let's see how you like it.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So our website is www.outfit-x.com. We do have a Twitter account, which is @OutfitX, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/OutfitX. We are always posting content to that account, so if you want to see what's going on in the outfit, log in and check it out, guys. And Painted Dude, I do appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
And see you next time, man.
Yeah, definitely, man, and let's keep kicking ass.
Absolutely.
See you in game.
All right, have a good one.
Take care.